So anyway, I just finished the inaugural ride for this Frankenstein build. It's the Paradox suspension. I think it went okay. First of all, I wasn't feeling too great. It's been almost a month since I've ridden. I have a lower back problem, so it's still pretty stiff. Couldn't really push super hard. I felt kind of sluggish from that. The setup, I was running 30% sag, maybe 35. It was pretty deep into the travel. That's how I decided to test it, just to see, just to see what the efficiency was with the shock really super plush. I don't know if it was much better than a regular bike at this point, without much squish in it. Again, this bike has between 130 and 140 millimeters of travel, so it's pretty big. That's a lot of movement. So I did notice some movement in it, so it wasn't super stiff. Still felt like a pretty good climber. It's super heavy. It's like 35 pounds, I think, the bike. That's what I get. It feels heavier than that, but that's what I measured it at. So did 3 runs up a pavement hill. First time was in downhill mode. That was a struggle. Second time was in trail mode. The trail mode actually felt the best. The last time was in climb mode, and honestly I didn't feel much of a difference, although I was getting pretty toasted at that point. It felt pretty stiff, surprisingly, because it's such a bad build. Wasn't getting any wiggle in the back, which is kind of amazing. That cam is really doing a good job of transferring forces to the frame. The other thing is, I felt so good, I took a trail down. I was going pretty mild, wasn't going super fast. My average speed for the whole time, I think it did just over 4 miles, was just over 7 miles per hour. So I wasn't going super slow, but certainly not my fastest. So when I get home, I'll look at the metrics and see kind of where we're at numbers wise. So some things I forgot to mention was this bike is actually as long as a downhill bike, and it has a pretty slack head angle. So these types of bikes that are this long have a tendency, they're less efficient to climb inherently. So the shorter ones are a little better at it. So that may have had an effect on this a little bit. The other note is, looking at my Hillbilly Engineering, what looks like tape back here that's holding it together, up along here, that's fiberglass. So it's not held together with tape, although there is some tape on it. But there are sections that are held together with zip ties. Just needed to stabilize that one part of the frame because it was getting a lot of twist there. So yeah, it's an ugly build, very ugly bike, but it does run the Paradox suspension. It's first ride, and so far I think it's a success. It held together, felt decent. Definitely soaked up the bumps. That's something I didn't mention before, was the suspension. It actually works very, very well. It's just a matter of efficiency. That's kind of what my primary concern is right now. So anyway, I'll get back to you soon.